So Mary Sue is out on vacation, just as a FYI. So Commissioner Brainerd.
Here.
Commissioner Clemens.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson. Absent. Commissioner Lanker.
Here.
Commissioner Madrid is absent. Commissioner Owens.
Here.
Commissioner Sweetland. Here. Commissioner Yu.
Here.
And Commissioner Nevitt is also.
Okay, Kathy, would you lead us in a pledge, please? Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're honored to have our, I want to say congressman.
No way.
Our councilman Bert Carrillo, and he has some public comments.
Good morning. I am speaking to you as a councilman, but I'm also a citizen, and I'm a senior citizen. I'm pushing 67, so I need to cover all the bases here. Three things I'd like to point out. Airport and Ventura County Airport Authority meeting last week. Could not attend. I was scheduled to be at a neighborhood council initiation to get them started again, and I couldn't make it. So there was the item that had to do with the city of Oxnard was not on there. I'm told that it will be rescheduled. I hope that you can attend, and I hope that they let you know when the meeting will take place. The second is, there's three things. The second is there are 4 elected council members, 1 mayor, 1 city clerk, and 1 treasurer. Those are all elected officials in the city of Oxnard. In my opinion, one of them, and there could be differences of opinion, but one of them that has made a big difference in the city of Oxnard is the city treasurer. And the reason that I'm bringing this forward is because the city treasurer had shared the information with all elected officials at the same exact time. Tonight, there's going to be 4:30, the city council meeting starts, and it's a public hearing with respect to the budgets and items on the budget. If you get a chance to look at page 39 of the presentation, on page 39 of the presentation, there's a 5-year projection. I have questioned the city manager. I questioned the city manager last night in my meeting. The city of Oxnard has a policy that they want 18% in reserves for the general fund. Something goes wrong, you got a little kitty bank where something could be, you don't have to go and do all kinds of whacks, you got a little money left over. When the city manager first started, he inherited a bad situation. There was less than single-digit percentage of reserves. The reserves right now are at 15.8%. But at the end of 5 years, we're going to be down to 9 single-digit again percent. That's a 31% hit on the general fund reserves. The government financial assistance business reserves recommendation for any city is that they have 2 years of They have 2 months of reserves for whatever the general fund budget is, divided by 12, multiply it by 2, you get 2 months. It turns out to be about 16%. So we don't even have that number in here. Now, why am I bringing that up? I think that there's got to be some changes, and there's got to be some re-looking, some hard looks at reality, and when information comes to the attention of the public, they need to know what's going on, and they need to ask questions. And if they don't, you get what you pay for. Sort of like a wedding. If you got something to say it before they say, you're married, and that's it. Okay, these pages are out of the budget. And there is one particular item that I'm going after. There is a organization called the Oxnard Convention and Visitors Bureau. It was created to assist economic development. And in January of 1994, the agreement, the contract, and let me, I wanted to say this first, but if I got it off right. Okay, contract. We're all of a certain age where we know who this musician was named Chuck Berry. Okay? Chuck Berry's got some tape recordings that had remained silent for 40 years. And yesterday they played some of them on National Public Radio. It was cool. Because he talked about having to go to different shows, and when the rest of the musicians had been drinking too much, that's one of the reasons he started taking local bands to be his front, because he said, I have a contract, and I have to honor my contract. With or without sleep, I gotta honor my contract, because the people that are paying me to perform are expecting a show. And I feel that's pretty much how you'd say about a contract. Okay, in 1994, in January, the city of Oxnard approved a contract with the Visitors and Convention Bureau for the city of Oxnard to assist them with $311,000 a year. 1994. There's, may I? Okay. And the contract has never been amended. But the contract this year is for $638,000. In the last several years, they've been receiving between $600,000 and $700,000 a year. Other CAGs, other departments in the city, including your CAG, might have used that extra money. Over the years, it's over $4.5 million. I have no idea where to get the money, but I don't believe that we should dishonor a contract, and that's my concerns. Thank you very much for letting me talk.
Thank you. Another insight into the workings of City Hall. Okay. Did you all have a chance to read your minutes from the last meeting? Can somebody give me a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the May 9th meeting. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Al doesn't know his right.
It's a hand.
It's a hand, okay. Thank you. We're pleased today to have two of our partner agencies, Gray Law and Kenmore Hospice, to give us a brief presentation. So we'll start with Michael and Gray Law. Would you introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Michael Williams. I'm the directing attorney of a program called Gray Law, which is free legal services for senior citizens. And I'm going to start completely out of left field and tell you about a guy that got a brand new bird dog, and he was so excited. He took his best friend out to show off his new bird dog, and they see a flight of ducks, and he shoots the lead duck, and the duck falls in the water, and his dog runs across the top of the water, picks up the duck, and runs back. And he looks at his friend and says, "Did you notice anything unusual about my dog?" And he says, "Yeah, your dog can't swim." So when the city of Oxnard or the city of Simi Valley gets a call about Gray Law to the mayor's office, it's about something that we don't do. So the first thing I would like to explain is, we don't do, if you rob a bank, we're not the right people. If it's family law, we're not the right people. If it's something that generally attorneys do, and so you can just go to the first attorney out the door, we probably don't do it. It's not what we're set up to do. We're set up to do things that attorneys avoid because there's no money in it, because we don't do any fee generating work at all. It's all free. We try to do what the private bar simply won't do, like Medi-Cal. And Medi-Cal, surprisingly, has become something where there are cottage industries where people can make quite a bit of money in Medi-Cal now. But that's still not the rule. That's a very specific category. Medicare, we're the backup for the HICAP program. Has everybody heard of Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy? In fact, the original HICAP program was run out of Gray Law. A lot of what we do is SSI and Social Security retirement. We do a lot of information on powers of attorney, advanced healthcare directives. We have simple forms. We don't have the elaborate 9-page powers of attorney or the 12-page advanced healthcare directives. We have very simple, very general forms that really don't apply. If you've got a lot of money and a lot of property, talk to a regular attorney. That's what this is all about. But everybody should have an advanced healthcare directive, and we give them out for free. And if you have questions about it, we are happy to explain it. And this is what we do. In that, we do about 1,000 Ventura County Ventura County seniors, 60 a year. And we've been doing that since 1979, which makes us older than Adult Protective Services, et cetera. So we've expanded because we're a volunteer-based organization. We have somewhere between 10 and 12 volunteer attorneys at any one time. And because that's pretty much locked in, we've sort of hit a plateau of about 1,000, so between 975 and 1,100 seniors a year throughout the county. About 300 of those are in the city of Oxnard. We've expanded. I have more time now because some of our volunteers have been with us for a long time. So we do a lot of public speaking. What I'm doing is a program that was originally set up by the Area Agency on Aging. I'm sure everybody knows who they are. They're one of our main funders also, and it's called LIFE, which is Legal Information for the Elderly. In 2009, they did a survey on what was most important, what was most needed among seniors in Ventura County. The thing was a senior hotline, which we have now called, it's just 211. The second was a book that helped seniors with their potential legal needs. And the third was a legal service program. And we've been around at that time for over 25 years or over 20 years. And so the results of the survey said that 32% of the people in Ventura County didn't know who Greylaw was because they didn't realize there was a senior legal services program. And so we've been working with the Area Agency on Aging on doing these classes to spread the word. Now, interestingly enough, only 16% of the people that took the survey knew who the Area Agency on Aging was, and they were doing the survey. So that's kind of good, but it still means 68% didn't know who we were. So we do a lot of public speaking on elder abuse, on new and recent laws affecting seniors like SB 833 that basically eliminated estate recovery if a senior goes on or a person goes on Medi-Cal, if they do certain things, like, for example, do a living trust. If you have a living trust, there is no, because estate recovery can only be taken out of a probate estate. So any property that's given away in joint tenancy or inherited through a living trust simply is not recovered against by the Department of Health Services. Lastly, in, I don't remember what year now, probably 2001, Ventura County started a FAST program, Financial Abuse Specialty Team, FAST. And in about 5 years ago, they became unfunded. And so we have taken them under our wing, and they're part of our budget now. And basically what that is 25 professionals, including neurologists, representatives of virtually every police department, the district attorney's office, the Department of Insurance, the Department of Corporations, the FBI shows up to these meetings right here in Ventura County. And we go over case study and then have presentations, usually on new types of fraud or types of fraud that are out in great numbers. For example, the romance fraud, where people meet online and fall in love, and then all of a sudden they're defrauded out of their life savings. And so it's something that we're very proud of, and we really don't want to run the FAST program, but nobody else seems to want it, and we think that it's very valuable. So that's sort of a nutshell of what Greylaw does and why we genuinely appreciate all of the assistance that the city of Oxnard has provided us through the commission. Thank you. Questions? Yes, sir.
How do you make your services known to the population?
We don't have any money to advertise, so 99% of it is word of mouth and what I'm doing right here. Because if you have a neighbor that says, you know, I'm really having trouble with my SSI check or my Medi-Cal, or I don't understand Medicare. But what we say is, if you have a friend or a relative or a neighbor who has a legal question, then we're not a bad first call. Even if it's something that we don't do, they'll give the number for the lawyer referral service or an agency that may be more appropriate than Graylaw. So we're a first point of contact for any senior that has a legal question. But we're word of mouth. I mean, that's the truth.
I've attended the life workshop. I think 3 of us have, and that's a really good start to understand
Yeah.
what that.
Thank you, I appreciate that. It's something, they won a national award for it. I didn't get any credit. I want you to know. Excuse me.
I attended his too, and it's a good guilt comp thing if you don't have a trust set up. You'll take his class and it'll wear your mind, I've got to take the time, and eventually you do, and you get it set up. And that's what everybody should do, and if you haven't taken his class, you really should.
Yeah, well, the question is, do you need it? Do you need a trust? Because there's a lot of people that are living in mobile home parks that they don't own the land underneath it. They probably can figure out a way of avoiding probate without doing the living trust. So the real first question is, do you even need one? Because they're expensive. Everybody knows that. They're a pain in the start.
So you just refer someone if they want a living trust?
If you have, if you,
don't
if,
read yourself?
no, ma'am. Graylaw does generating cases. But if you want an advanced healthcare directive or a power of attorney form, we'd be more than happy to provide you with one. And if you have questions about it, we'd be more than happy to answer questions about it. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a date for the next life class?
I don't set them up. But I do take a picture of my calendar periodically. So, because the Area Agency on Aging calls Kathy, my secretary, and says, what's open, and they set it up, and then Kathy says, Mike, you're supposed to be at a life, and I go, okay, and I go. She runs my life. She said, but I'm not, she was here yesterday, so she put a note on my desk yesterday that I had to be here today. Because there are things I do really well, and then there's some other stuff.
Okay.
And my apologies. My mom died in 2008, and Livingston Memorial Hospice was the team that came in and made us all feel amazing and less pain. My apologies.
Okay.
What's your definition of a senior?
60.
60? Okay. How many seniors in Ventura County?
Ooh, I'm going to say there's over 60,000 now. I'm not exactly sure. I actually have seen the number and don't remember. So,
Would you have any problem if this is being taped? Would you have any problem with this being shown on the city channel?
oh, absolutely. Feel free. In fact, what I would love is to provide a life class, but it's about 2.5 hours long, and then they can show that. And we're available to do those if you have a group of any number for me, but the area agency wants 25 or so. Call the area agency on aging and say we want to throw a life class, and they'll schedule.
Would you be willing to make a presentation at city council?
Absolutely.
Those are my questions.
Okay. Thank you so much, Michael.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Mike.
Do you have any handouts there?
I do. Oh, good question. We have powers of attorney in English and Spanish, advanced healthcare directives in English and Spanish, and Graylaw, which is basically says what we do in English and Spanish. I left. I'm going to have a stack of the English one, Graylaw ones here. If anybody wants them, you want me to pass them around?
And those are also available at our main office and 3 senior centers. And just to also note, a face to the name, Michael has contributed his services to the new senior center project also. So
I'm expecting a statue at least.
Of course.
I'll pass.
And
These
you
around, there's
do
2 seconds.
regularly come to our senior center.
Oh, yeah.
There are
Correct.
hours, it's on calendar.
on the monthly calendar, Graylaw is at the senior centers on a monthly basis. Their times are
In fact,
noted.
today, you're supposed to be at the Wilson Center.
Howard Evans is going to be there today. I was there last week. But yes, we have volunteers that go to all of the seniors. Because my secretary has scheduled my life, is it okay if I take off? Oh, Mike Williams.
Okay, now,
Thank you very
I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
Oh, no problem. Oh, my pleasure.
I don't know your name.
Mark,
but-
excuse me, Mark Wilde. Wilde, like Oscar Wilde, Mark Wilde.
Well, welcome,
Okay.
and you represent, well, you're wearing two hats now, right?
Right, so I'm gonna introduce myself as Mark Wilde, Development Director of Camarillo Hospice, a program of Livingston Memorial Visiting Nurse Association. And so I'm gonna, I thought it was important to share a little bit about that today. It's tough to follow Michael. I heard his joke and I was thinking, all my jokes are political, profane, or both. So I'm out of luck there. So maybe I could tell a good story instead. So you will probably start hearing, if you haven't already heard of that merger, which was actually completed in April. You'll hear more about that. And I thought it was important for me to be here today to talk to you rather than one of our clinicians, because I think a relationship with the city of Oxnard is important with Camarillo Hospice and Livingston. And with Camarillo Hospice, we've had that relationship since 2003. So it's a long and productive relationship with this group. So what happened, and this is happening more and more across the country, is volunteer hospices actually started before Medicare approved hospices, which is what Livingston is. Livingston provides medical hospice, and it's licensed by Medicare, run by clinicians, provides licensed care. A volunteer hospice, like Camarillo Hospice, is run by volunteers strictly through the goodwills of their heart, and they do tremendous, tremendous work. In about October of last year, Sandy Nurnberg, who maybe that name is familiar to you, I see a smile, and she decided that she was going to be retiring and what was going to happen to Camarillo Hospice. And so the board of Camarillo Hospice looked at the options of finding another president and CEO, dissolving, or merging with Livingston. And in the end, they approached Livingston and wanted to become a program of Livingston. And this is kind of a common thing that's sort of happening. It's throughout the country, is the volunteer hospices are being absorbed by the Medicare approved hospices. And the advantage there is infrastructure, really. It just means there's only one administrative fee, there's only one set of fundraising. And so they can continue to do their work, but they don't have the burden of the administration, fundraising, and things like that. So the conditions of the merger, the goal of the merger was, to put it most simply, two beloved organizations coming together to offer more and better services for the community. And that's what we're hoping to do. All the programs for Camarillo Hospice are intact. All of their counseling services are intact, all of their interns, all of their volunteers, all of their programs, their farmers market, their garden tour, their memorial programs, their Tree of Life programs. But most importantly, the programs that you have funded in the past for City of Oxnard residents. So I thought it was important for those of you who didn't know about that merger to know how that came about and then what the intent was. So since I'm not a clinician and not a program officer, I'm going to use a cheat sheet if that's okay. The program title that you are funding is the Camarillo Service Area, I'm sorry, it's the Oxnard Services and Outreach Project. And the amount funded in 2017 was $3,800. And you've been funding the program since, or a Camarillo Hospice program since 2003. So that is a long relationship that we appreciate. The annual budget for that program in the Oxnard area is $57,943. And what that does is help pay for, there are 12 employees, Camarillo Hospice employees, and 150 volunteers. That total budget is $384,197. In 2016, in Ventura County, Camarillo Hospice provided service to 3,240 individuals. In Oxnard, it was Oxnard. Even though it's called Camarillo Hospice, the largest service area is actually Oxnard. So they serve 1,772 residents in Oxnard in 2016. For the outreach into Oxnard, the programs are delivered by staff and volunteers, and presentations are delivered at Palm Vista, Wilson Senior Centers, and other Oxnard venues. And the grant provides support and counseling for individuals and families grieving the loss of a loved one, and practical and emotional support and counseling for individuals and families admitting illness, whether as patient, caregiver, or loved one. And I wanted to kind of give an example of how the city of Oxnard is actually going to be getting more out of Camarillo Hospice through their relationship with Livingston. As a volunteer hospice, they don't have to, as a volunteer hospice, we don't have to go through the rigid requirements that Medicare goes through. So someone can call in and just say, my mom passed, my brother passed, someone passed, I need help. Can I get counseling services? And the answer is yes. There are no requirements or hoops that they have to jump through. They can just get help by self-identifying. But once they get to a place where they may need medical hospice, then there's just a natural step to Livingston for the Medicare provided clinical hospice. And that happens a lot in families, in that you end up in the door talking to mom, and then you end up providing hospice care for an uncle. And so think of it as just a bigger hospice shop to operate in and to offer to citizens. And since this is new to me since April 17th, actually, I'm still trying to figure out ways to present that. But that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I'll do my best to answer any questions that you got. Yeah.
Since the merger,
Right.
would it not be more applicable and universal to change the name from Camarillo to maybe Ventura?
Part of the
I'm tying into the merger, that's what I'm saying.
right.
Right now,
So I hate to admit this, but I think it's true. Nonprofits are not the best marketers. Nonprofits are not the best marketers. We're great at providing service. We're not real great at marketing. So we have a big mouthful of a name, Camarillo Hospice, a program of Livingston Memorial Visiting Nurse Association. And that's kind of what the two boards at the merger agreed to. So that's forward with. And I don't know, did I not answer your question?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
But that's okay, I don't have the answer either.
Okay.
Does Livingston go outside of Ventura County?
No.
Well, Livingston doesn't go outside of Ventura County. Camarillo doesn't go outside of Ventura County. It seems universally popular that maybe the name should be changed, or at least to be a little more inclusive So that, now you're telling me that the majority of, people utilizing the service off of Oxnard, that's great, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, we want to give some consideration to that, just from an awareness point of view.
I agree with you 100%.
Thank you. I'm glad someone agrees with me. I've read about an hour before and did right. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I totally agree with the gentleman.
Me too.
There is a normal resistance, at least from my seat of the pants, and as a person who goes around, when if something is heard at Camarillo, it's like Oxnard, there's a resistance. Why is Camarillo? Marketing tool, Ventura County. I don't want to say Livingston helped my mom and helped an in-law. So I appreciate the work they do, but I think it'd be a smart move for you to take it back. And I don't know if this group wants to make a recommendation, but I can tell you when it comes for some services to be provided and the name Camarillo comes up, I can just tell as other councilmen, it sort of raises the hackles, they go forward with it. But if we're not going to get Oxnard as the main name, and I don't think we should, but if we're the biggest dog in the pound, yeah, you are. And the county does not provide the services outside of the county, what would be the embarrassment of changing the name Ventura County? No, and I'm not saying that you are challenging that, but I think the gentleman was very smart to bring it up, and it's a good point.
Yeah, and I can, of course, I will take, all of this back to, the hires up, and I will pass that along from a marketing perspective, or more might help. And I completely understand how, when you pigeonhole yourself with a name, there's a natural, well, what do you do for us then? So I understand.
We're not being critical, you understand, we're just saying that
You're being helpful.
more beneficial to everyone if we had more universal title on the program.
Yeah, and I agree, and
And more understandable.
I will take that forward.
Thank
And
you.
going forward, we have our grant applications every year. We've always funded the Livingston Memorial Hospice for clinical assistance. And we've always funded Kenmore Hospice for respite type services. So in, I don't know when, the fall, we're gonna be having also 2 applications from one organization. That's right.
I think, well, we'll probably have conversations with you before then. What we would really like to do is have one application for one organization rather than making it more complicated for everybody.
Because you were, we were having 2 different types of services.
Right, and if we could just apply for a broader spectrum under one easily recognizable county identified organizational name, I think it would be easier for
Because
everyone.
this is gonna be, I'll guarantee you, it's
Right.
gonna be a matter of discussion.
Sure.
among us. So,
Sure.
so we all heard it together.
Okay.
We really appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you. And next time, I hope that a clinician is coming instead of me. I was talking more about the programs in the community, the people we've helped, and giving you stories about those people and the differences that your funding makes. So thank you for this opportunity.
We needed the information.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I'm going to follow Mike's lead.
You don't want to listen to everything you have to say.
You know what I will say about Mike though is he said, the internet dating stuff, that's where I found my wife. And I have spent more money and it's the most expensive thing I've ever done. So everything he says about that is true.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good story.
Thank you. Okay, Renee. do you have a-
There's nothing to report from the agency.
So new business,
True. I have officially.
oh, well.
What happened?
I'm permanent supervisor at this point. No longer intern.
Since
Oh,
I
they're
have,
thinking, all right, it's about time they go.
yeah, since I have been on the commission, we've had 6 supervisors.
Was it you?
Was it something I said? I mean, this has just been going on and on and on, and we have one, and then they leave, and so, it was not quite a year ago, and I said to Greg Nylaw, you know, the authorized commitment to seniors, they're just gonna, so finally, they made Renee. So we're not getting rid of her.
Right.
And she's doing a great job. We're just so
I do
happy.
humbly accept, you know, that as much as it was a long-term interim position, now that it's permanent, there is a little bit of a different feel and excitement and opportunity for growth for all of us and for the program, and we're gonna hit this ground running. What's gonna come is gonna be exciting, even more so at this point. I'm no longer sub on the team, I'm gonna be captain.
No learners.
No.
Chair.
We're pointing that out.
Can
Yes.
can I just share something with folks? Coming on council, there were a lot of interims, and you heard discussions of a lot of interims. Apparently, in human resource protocol, not just for the city of Oxnard, all of them, if you're intern for 12 months, you got a full-time job. But the city of Oxnard has a history of having people intern. Mr. Robert Shawnee was Public Works, 8 years. There were some real problems, and hopefully they're getting addressed. And were you a full limited benefit or FTE full-time?
I was full-time.
Okay, because the other issue, there are limited benefit employees with the new budget, and that's one of the expenses the city's got, that people for 3 years, at least 36 hours a week, were considered limited benefit employees with no benefits, none. And so they're being considered as full-time now. So, because there is a time, the city of Oxnard is in jeopardy of getting sued because they've been keeping people in a limbo for way too long.
Well, we're delighted that finally Oxnard's made a commitment to senior services. We're keeping it.
If I can cap on that, something. Every elected official knows seniors vote. Every elected officials and the seniors are the ones that help put the guy in the seat, and the guys that are in council are the ones that put the city manager where he is. You got power, use it. Use it. Don't, I mean, being nice has gotten the city in the spot that it's in.
Okay, so how about senior services programs?
So on that note, we have a lot going on, and so I'll touch on something that Mary Sue would have mentioned. There was another Tai Chi training, and we have an additional 10 instructors. So the way that Tai Chi program is working is an evidence-based program. And so coming out with a 10-person class, if all of them are able to complete their 30 hours of training, additional 5 classes of Tai Chi out, which it seems to be the hot item right now. So that's exciting. May was Older Americans Month, so we had our dance that was sponsored by the commission, and very exciting, a lot of great raffle prizes, which I think is a show of how much support is received from the community. And those were some great raffle prizes. The dance was overly sold out. It was maxed out in attendance. And, you know, everyone came dressed up according to the theme, which was Cinco de Mayo, on Cinco de Mayo. And it was full of a lot of color, just in general for the dance. So that was exciting. And then we had the Wii Bowling Tournament at the Colonia Gym, where participants from all 3 centers came and battled it out, and we had a couple perfect games for Wii Bowling, so that's exciting. A new program this year for the Older Americans Month was the talent show. And I can't tell you the energy that came out of the talent show. We had about an hour of performances, and then it followed by a luncheon. And all three centers came together at South Oxnard for that event. Emails, people at the office immediately after saying, we want to do this more often. So who would have thought that seniors want to be out there doing their talent shows, but they were very active. It was a highlighted program. I'm excited to bring it back. And we have our excursions calendar. This is, our excursions are growing every single day. They are maxing out. There was a lady in the office and she was signing up for 3 different excursions at once. We have, when I first came on to senior services, we were taking about 1 van on an excursion, and that fits about 10 individuals. Our trip that went to the Warner Brothers tour last week, I had 3 vans go, and we still had a waiting list. So if it continues to take that way, we can look into a bus and taking larger groups, but this is just evidence that seniors are active and want to get out and, go beyond what we offer just at the center. So
We have 3 full bands
Right.
for the Warner Brothers.
And like I said, this calendar just went out last week. We've had people in the office, one after another, signing up for them. I had phone calls prior to it going out. When are we going to get it? So, and you see on the calendar, there's for September, October, and November, we have 2 different excursions where it was 1 per month prior. So we're building upon the whole idea. Alma is great in working with this and to continue growing. The last item will encompass a whole bunch of things, but I recently became a committee member for St. John's Healthy Communities Committee, and Alice put me in touch with that committee. As much as I do networking out there to get our word out about senior services, this was a hub that we just haven't tapped into. And St. John's Healthy Committees entails community members like myself, doctors, healthcare, Channel Islands instructors, from professors to professionals to healthcare individuals, all within this network or this healthy communities, and it's really driving a healthy environment. With that said, we met and we're going to, as similar to what the commission did in going and having meetings at the different senior centers, we met at one of the locations, which was St. John's Cancer Center. I don't know if any of you are aware of what the Cancer Center has to offer, but that I had no idea what was available. And so I want to share that, and I'm bringing it into the senior centers to spread the word. The Cancer Center, on the ground floor, when you walk up to the building, the doctor's office building at St. John's is a cancer treatment center. But if you go up to the 3rd floor, there's a cancer center, and you can walk in. You don't need an appointment. There is a doctor on site, a nurse practitioner, a dietitian, and a marriage and family therapist, all there at that location that offer 100% free services. For with cancer, their family members, they have children programs to work with children. They offer free wigs and loan them out. But anyone that you know of that is going through cancer or that is dealing with an individual that is cancer, that is a immense amount of resources in this little office. So I've partnered with them to come into our senior centers and spread the good word. They're going to do some presentations. So it's I'm very excited to bring them to our centers. Brochures for those also. With that, there's also a network meeting that I attended that's also linked, one through the other. And in this network meeting, there was about, I would say, 20 to 30 different agencies that serve Oxnard, mostly nonprofit, and another get our resources out. The good part about, I'll say, recreation services as a whole, whether it's recreation, senior services, whether we're serving youth or serving seniors, much of it is free. And in networking with these agencies, they are things that need free services. And we talk about marketing and how do we tap into the individuals that we're not serving. And as this gentleman had spoke, as Michael had spoke, it's all basically comes down to word of mouth. And if we can get our material and create a knowledge base of our programs to these agencies, it will spread that much more. And I know there's other avenues of marketing, but this is one that is definitely untapped and easy to get our information out. So I will continue with this networking opportunity, and I'm sure at the same time I'll be able to bring resources that they offer back to this commission meeting. As you can tell, I'm very, very excited about this opportunity.
Renee, what you're saying is unbelievable. Again, I said this before. I attended here. I said I was unbelievably surprised by the amount of services available. I use the word available 3 times. Available, but not necessarily utilized. The biggest problem that you just explained now, and I don't know if I go with the word of mouth as the best way to go. It may be the only way that they're going now, and it's a fallback and it's a default. It's got to be. I like the fact that you don't even know about the service, the programs that they were talking about. And that's great. If we can coordinate, I think we have to have somebody, whomever it may be, somebody be knowledgeable enough, okay, to say, hey, look at all of the services that are over here, okay? Whether it be Ventura County, Oxnard County, whatever it may be, okay? We just have not, even hospice and even Gray Law. No one has been able to channel that information to the broader amount of people out there. And I don't know the answer yet either. Hopefully, what we're working on now, we'll do something along those lines. And I do wish that you would attend the meeting on June 20th at 2 o'clock. Okay? I applaud you for what you're doing now and for your ideas of expanding it even further.
There's 3 Founders Day celebration in the 3 centers. I recommend South Oxnard because they have beautiful line dancing.
We are celebrating Father's Day this next Wednesday at South Oxnard and Wilson, and Friday at Palm Vista.
You have to buy the tickets today because that's the last day
Oh,
to buy the ticket. Maybe yesterday.
And also another new program that we're bringing is Senior Movie Night. So it's open to seniors and a +1 to encouraging them to bring their grandchild with them. It is a Disney movie that we're playing. Going to serve some hot dogs and have a little snack bar for seniors. It's free and it's available to our participants on the 23rd at Wilson at 6 p.m. It's actually at 5 p.m. We moved it up just with need of time. I won't make a comment back on that one.
When I got the package in the mail this week, or last week, rather, thank you again, it had a number of attachments, brochures, magazines, and so forth. Where are they?
At our office.
And-
Oh, well, other than that,
Yeah, where's the distribution?
which one?
Anything. I
So,
mean,
for
there was about 3 or
example,
4 there was
that
still
magazine-
brochures in the magazine, yeah.
That magazine goes out to Oxnard, Guanini, and Rio Vista school districts.
Goes out to
Oxnard, Hueneme, and Rio Vista school districts.
school districts. Oh,
Yes. And it's
and one
available.
magazine to each school or?
No,
a bunch?
a bundle. It goes out to the families.
Okay.
It's available at our recreation centers, there's libraries, these activities leagues, our senior centers. There's a laundry list.
Not the supermarkets.
No, that one's not available in supermarkets.
What was the one that was supposed to be the supermarkets?
That was Elder,
Is that getting printed still?
that's out.
It's out?
Well,
I
because
just put the wrong
the Star
supermarkets.
puts that one up, isn't it?
BC AAA is behind it. We can talk.
Okay.
I thought the information about the senior centers in this magazine was just excellent. I
Yes.
don't remember ever being that much information about the senior centers.
I
We're
agree with you.
definitely filtering things in a little, I
That's what I'm
think
saying,
things
who got
in,
that? Yeah.
so, the way we're filtering out our information is a little different. I've revised some of it as far as that, but also our magazine, there is a leadership team within recreation that our senior, staff, myself, and a few others are a part of, and we're constantly, it is the same exact discussion we're having over at seniors, on a broader spectrum as far as the department goes.
Well, I have to think that now that you're permanent.
I tell you,
A little
team captain,
more-
I'm not losing your team captain.
People get more attention. So it was only to our advantage.
Yeah.
And plus the information you're getting. I mean, we have some, and the information would go with it. So if it's.
Renee, if I could jump on Al's point about the meeting next week with the subcommittee. This just blends in perfectly into what we're trying to do. Mary Sue's been doing a good job of representing that subcommittee and a different knowledge base. And you know, we're kind of at the point where we're trying to figure out the best way to get the information out, and it always goes back, well, I have to ask Renee. And that comes up 5 times a meeting, you know, we have money. So it'd be nice to the chair.
I have it highlighted already.
I know your calendar's crazy these days. But if you're bored for an hour.
Never bored, but
And when you sign our words, you hope for Alice to be here around.
as long as there's no home videos.
I saw you.
Okay, so our next report.
Can I ask a question? You mentioned the free deals at St. John's, that people could take advantage of the free. What if they are receiving treatment in another hospital? Can they still go to St. John's?
It's my understanding, if you're a resident of this area, you can definitely tap into their services.
The recreation magazine, I can tell you as a councilman, I never received that in my, okay, so maybe they should. I don't know if it would jeopardize you or put you in harm's way if you were to go to public comment. You get 3 minutes, you get early enough, you get your first 3 minutes, sometimes the mayor cuts them down to 1 minute. And maybe say this, and by saying jeopardize you because you're a department head, can potentially jeopardize you. Maybe one member of this board, say once a month. This meeting June 20th at 2 o'clock, what is that?
That's
That's a private meeting.
basically, we're just discussing ways of getting our word and our information out on a broader spectrum.
Just to answer that, if it's done with this, it's not a private meeting.
It's a sub.
It is a subcommittee meeting.
Okay. And the last is you mentioned there were a lot of gifts given away at the senior thing. If you got a list, if you got a list of what was given or who donated, I'll say it tonight at council. If you want to do that, and you spike it up. Because you have advantage of, you at least got 2 members on this council if we take the age of 60. I don't know that Brian's 60 yet, but Carmen and I are seniors. We can pump this thing up. We get 2 or 3 minutes, depending on what happens with the mayor, 2 months. We can help you out.
Let me
And I
see
think
what I
that
could
your
do.
deal about the movie, if we announce that a couple of council meetings in a row, you should have no room for the movie. Free is the magic word. So
We're at limited capacity for the movie, so I need to be sensitive in how we're advertising it in that sense, because I do want our participants to be able to attend. There is a movie night, actually the day prior at the Performing Arts Center, and that's a family movie night on, I believe it's on the 22nd. It starts at 3:30 with a Jolly Jump and Train, and will follow with a movie at 5 p.m. at the Performing Arts Center. And that is also a free movie night.
You give me a
The
list.
seniors are gonna go on those Jolly Jumpers?
What's that?
Seniors are gonna go on that
Oh,
Jolly
no.
Jumper.
Sponsored by orthopedic surgeon.
Good feeder.
If you want, I'll
So
say.
I'll
So that would be great to get to the advertisement because, you know, they donated and if we periodically have this, and if we know that you can say that, that would be just, you know, yeah, it helps us get those donations for the.
Sure. And I gotta tell you, just from one of the reasons I come to these meetings is because I am always learning something. You go to other meetings and you guys bring people in that are interested. You guys are interested. And this gray law thing is a big deal.
It is, it really is, it's really sad the average person doesn't know about it.
Okay.
Right? He's right.
That's why there's subcommittees.
The Ventura County Agency on Aging Advisory Council. Clark and I both sit on that council. Do you have anything to report?
No.
Every year, Senior Nutrition from BC AAA gives away coupon books. I think it's up to $25 for low-income seniors to use at the, oh gosh,
Farmers market.
at the downtown farmers market. And so we've set the date, the Area Agency on Aging gives us a coupon book. And we'll distribute them July 13th, which is a Thursday. And apparently they have long lines of seniors when it gets out. They know that they'll get this coupon book. And so Addie Esparza and Cora Woods and myself will be there.
Where do we distribute at the centers?
At the park, they have a market
Distribute it
at
at
the
the
plaza, yeah.
on
And
Thursdays.
so they have a long line, and I guess you have people signing, because it's like money, it's like maybe $25. And so, anyway, that's all part of the Ventura County Agency on Aging.
That's also something that's grown. We are taking van loads of seniors from Palm Vista to the farmers market. So,
If you've never
We
been to
tried
the
it at
farmer's
SRC.
market,
I was wondering where the coupons are getting distributed.
apparently, I haven't been involved in it, but apparently they get in fist fights over it. You know, I mean, this is something really, really popular, so I'm gonna wear a helmet.
Sponsored by Snap.
The coupons are only disseminated at the,
At the farmer's market, when they're gone, they're
So-
gone,
First come first.
yeah.
so
And
a lot of
they'll,
people are coming to the market to receive those, right?
right,
And then to utilize them for the market. But we don't distribute them at the senior centers? Any reason why not?
I guess this is the most organized and.
I mean, both, I don't mean.
Because there's a limited amount of coupon.
Well,
And
that's why they're fighting,
they,
so to speak.
yeah, and I mean, they're gone within 2 hours, they're gone.
Sure.
And Oxnard has the most successful program as far as distributing that.
Well, I have the greatest need also.
Perhaps, yeah. And it's just, it's a fun thing to go to the market, it's a real social thing. They don't do it at the Ventura or the Oxnard Harbor because it has to meet, the farmers need, market has to meet a certain need in order to be a distribution center. I can't remember if it's organic or what, you know. they keep throwing this information, and a lot of it doesn't stick. But anyway, it's a very, very popular program, quite a gift to our seniors, so. It's July 13th, it's a Thursday. And we'll be there at 9 o'clock, and we'll probably be done by 10.
Maybe 9:10.
And, yes,
Is this coupon only for seniors?
Right.
And the coupon can be used at the farmer's market?
only
Okay.
That day?
any,
Any day.
Yeah.
Or you could use it, that, and then come the next Thursday.
That's okay. Oh, okay. I was on that
Is
one
it
day.
not there's one on Saturday?
farmer's market, not Ventura, but this is only for the farmer's market. You know, and they'll be distributing in Ventura, they'll be distributing in Camarillo for their farmer's markets, but this is only for us. So, the other thing is, for the BC AAA, they had an Optimum Challenging Champion. They created these categories and found worthy seniors in Ventura County to receive the award. So the Optimal Aging Award for an individual was for Harry Noken from Thousand Oaks, and he was there, and he's finally retiring. He volunteers, drives people, works at the Global Center, and he has to stay home with his 99-year-old wife. You know, so I don't know how old he is, but anyway, he has given just tremendous service. For the Optimal Aging Award for an organization was to the Cameron Healthcare District. For advocacy, leadership, and award for an individual, it was given to Suze Montgomery. She was our speaker at the RSVP luncheon. Advocacy and leadership award for organization long-term care, the ombudsman. And the dementia friendly award goes to the Conejo Valley Senior Concerns. And the age friendly media award went to the Ventura Freeze. And then the Shining Star Award went to Chris and Randy Martin. They found a need. They had retired parents who had dementia. So Randy outfitted his motor home in an awareness program. So he had special gloves designed and something so that when you look, things are all blurry, and you go through, and it's an awareness so that you go through and you know what a senior is experiencing when they can't walk straight, when they can't pick up a piece of paper. And so they just did this in their own backyard, and now it's growing exponentially. So I would have given them but anyway, so this year it was a low key thing. They made these awards at our meeting, but eventually
This is the first time.
this is the first time. And it's to encourage and inspire older adults. So
And
that's,
recognize them.
yeah, because there's a lot of good things going on in Ventura County, and a lot of these people were self-nominated, so.
Yeah.
If, I think Kathy had somebody.
I had, well, you know what, I was just so busy moving and things, I just wasn't able to have the time to submit, so next year.
Good.
So anyway, that agency keeps us very busy, right, Clark?
No, it sure does. And I've got a couple of committees that I have, subcommittees that I have to go on.
Right.
I got one picked out and I need to pick out another one.
Okay, now, Kate, you must have some wonderful things to tell us about the new seniors.
And Kathy and Clark also. But I was thinking one of the things that is becoming very obvious, the things that you're planning for the seniors, you can only handle so many because our buildings aren't big enough
Right.
to handle them. We sold out for the dance, we sold out for your movie night. you know, these kind of things are happening. That's why this new senior center is becoming so
Well,
important.
it really is.
There just isn't room in the current seniors for room for things. But anyway, spent this last month going to airport authority meetings because we have to get the approval of the airport because land that we want to build this at, as you know, is within the airport corridor. That's the way I think we're thinking. So that's where we're really doing right now, and we're slowly filing papers. As you heard Mike before the meeting got started, we're filing where he has secured our name, ORCAS, which is Oxnard Recreation and Senior.
Recreation Center for Adults and Seniors.
For adults and seniors. And the acronym is so we can use the orca whale as our symbol, and that's what you'll see the advertising in once we get started.
That was a brochure that was made up.
We have a temporary brochure already, or a flyer kind of thing already, so we're working on that right now. You know.
Yes, two things. First of all, I would really like to thank Commissioner, Councilman Carrillo for your encouragement at the last time that you visited us to not give up on going to the airport, because it was after your meeting here that we went back and said, okay, let's give it a shot, since we had your support, and then consequently went to City Hall. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. And I did have an opportunity that I did attend one of those meetings at the Airport Authority. And what I really heard that night was not the concern that of course they voted against us, which that was already, we knew that. But the concern that I heard was not about even the safety. The thing that away with after that meeting of the airport authorities was encroachment on the airport itself. And they used as an example Santa Monica. Here's Santa Monica that has a little municipal airport, and then you have buildings going all around it, and different developments, and all of a sudden, we don't want, because now you've got these, people that are living there and working there and everything, we don't want that noise at that airport any longer. So what I heard the airport authority saying after my conclusion was, we want to maintain our airports and not have so much around this. Now, I believe is that when we do go to City Council once again to ask them, even out, to supersede this after what's happened when they say, no, we don't want it here, is that this land here is Oxnard's land, that it would be in the best interest of Oxnard, because we've determined that this is the best space, and that we have a strong argument, I believe, to take back to City Councilman, and maybe even getting the mayor on board, to say, you know what, this is our land. We should be able to do with our land what we want, not what the airport is telling us. And so I think that there's a valid argument on that. And I just wanted to share that with you, as that was, my conclusion after attending that meeting.
For everything
Oh.
you're doing.
I'll share this with you. I appreciate your comment. The vote that was taken at City Council 4-1, there were some discussions after the vote that possibly some of us have a vested interest in trying to get a senior center there. It was sort of snarky, but it was back. I said, if you guys are lucky, you'll make a senior someday too, and you may be a senior center. But the issue that bothers me the most is, at one time, there was a big concern about putting anything youth-oriented near this airport for a potential disaster. But now, there are people that have elevated seniors to a higher risk, higher level of, we gotta protect the seniors than the kids at the one Soria school or the Boys and Girls Club, which doesn't make sense to me. I'm not advocating it's at risk, but it's like, we can't put the seniors there because we've got kids there, but if the plane goes into the kids, that's not as bad as if it goes into the seniors. And that's very blunt. But the issue is that you need to be aware of it. From Teal Club Road to Doris, there's a plan for a junior high school and a school on the north side of the airport. I mean, they're going to put more and more at-risk large numbers of people. Now, in a meeting that I was at, in one of the supervisors on the airport authority said that a concern from some of the people in the airport authority, the Ventura and Oxnard Joint Ventura County Airport Authority, is that the property that this site will take is where the parking is for the people that take kids to the soccer at the Boys and Girls Club field. And now what are the seniors going to do? Put more kids at risk because the parents have to park on Fifth Street, which is a high-speed thoroughfare, and the kids could get out on the traffic side of the street. And I'm like, you know, hey, it's a public street, and if parents want to let their kids get out on the traffic, that's up to mom and dad. I don't want nobody to get hurt. But that argument, I think, is a lame one, but I think you need to be aware of it. And I would not back down, because the city of Oxnard's, I'm telling you, the way I see it, as long as I'm here, I don't see the city of Oxnard is going to come into a cash cow to be able to go buy property somewhere else for your site.
No. Yeah.
I have a question on that. You're talking about the Teal Club. With the recommendation that the airport commissioner, commission staff made was to, if it was approved by the city of Oxnard, if Cleopa Road, that we had to have something like a hold harmless clause for the airport. Thinking about doing the same thing for the Teal Club project?
I have no idea.
Because that would be a very important thing. I'm not sure what that cost would be, if it would be self-insured or whatever. What, do you have any idea of what exactly they were talking about relative to that?
The airport authority, years before the one Surrey school was built on Fifth Street, voted no on that. The Oxnard School District, which is the elementary and the junior high school district, went to Sacramento, and the approval at Sacramento was to deny the site. They went and lobbied against it. The subcommittee voted against it. They went back and voted it, and they approved the site. What was done with insurance and hold harmless, I don't know. But I know that the Ventura County Airport Authority voted to deny that one because they didn't want to put people, which is, you know, they don't want to put people at risk.
Right.
I think everyone should know the attorney for the city has, this was his presentation, that people come to the senior center and leave. You come for a class, you
Right.
leave. You come for lunch, you leave, kind of thing. So there's people constantly coming and going. Where with the school district, 1,000 children come into that school, are there from 8 to noon. So it's a whole different kind of body of people. And they said, like the Boys and Girls Club, that people come there and they leave. They're not there all day long for this. And that's the way we're going, and that's what we'll eventually go back to the city council. We don't have 100 and 200 people there all day long there. We may have 150 over an 8-hour period, but no one's there all the time. And people, and no 200 people are there at one time, or rarely, like once a year, maybe twice a year we would have it. It's coming and going. That's where we're going, and they're interpreting it as the wrong kind of facility.
Right, and I believe also to address that, even the parking issue, is that we obviously will have a large parking space there that people will be able to fill, because the seniors will not be there on the weekends and when the soccer people are be there. So that parking lot would be available to the people that are, still going over for soccer.
Councilman,
To
what you said is
the gentleman, I'll try and get an answer. The whole time is what the airport authority wants. I'll try and get that back to you, but there's no way that any of us would, if there was unlimited space, there's no way any of us would put a school, a Boys and Girls Club, or a senior center next to an airport. Common sense says no, but the city of Oxnard is in a situation, they don't have the space, they don't have the land.
You said was interesting earlier. I mean, to me, it sounds like I'm not involved as much as the other young people are. It seems like the airport authority keeps on throwing the red herrings all the time. It seems also that you said that the school district, and it also seems like students are dispensable, but seniors are not.
That's the most recent one, when they did not want to go, the city did not want it, that was the argument.
And you said that it went back and forth to Sacramento. And eventually, the school district won. Are you suggesting that we should be doing the same thing?
I don't.
Eventually?
The school district got involved after everything had been denied.
But it was brought up at, I don't remember the exact.
No, after denials, yes, I know. But that's what we're getting is denials.
Yeah, but the schools they handle it completely differently.
They're a
It's a
totally different
different,
governmental.
it's completely
I'm just
different.
looking for it out, or for an in,
Yeah.
because they're gonna keep on coming to Good Herons from now until doomsday.
The city council is what is our final authority.
And they voted to support it.
Yeah.
Exactly, but that, now, so where are we?
Well, we have to go through the footwork, and that's what we're doing now.
They call it the hoops. You gotta jump through the hoops.
That's right.
The Skinner thing,
Yeah.
that's the ball until.
It's right.
So we show up and smile, and the city attorney gives his lovely presentation and answers some questions, and then, yeah.
I love Kathy's comment at city council. She said, we're seniors. She says, we've taken risks all our lives. We're used to this."
That's right.
I thought that was just darling.
That was
Well, and what I said is that I live right there, and you know what, it was never part of my consideration of moving to that location where I live, not exactly right now, but where when I chose that as a home, never was the risk. The risk was the ocean and tsunamis and earthquakes and never, and Mr. Perello even said, what that young lady said, and he called me a young lady, so, you know, it's like, you know, I mean, is that, yes, we do take risks, and, you know, I mean, there are certain risks, but I did not even hear that, and when I went to the airport authority, I didn't hear that, you know, because just even that week, that same week, there was a Camarillo airport disaster, a fatality, and it was 10 miles away.
Yeah,
So
there's
what's
no
to say that the accident's going to happen, you know, and not what? I mean, you know, and accidents happen, and that's the part, is that, so that was not their argument. Their argument was really, was the encroachment upon the airport. So
And I can see that,
Yeah.
but, you know, they've done it in
But,
Camarillo.
you know what, the same way is that when you own land, as a landowner, you should be able to develop your own land. That's your land. And that's my argument, to, you know, hopefully to take the city council, is that this is.
Tell that was.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving right along, commission comments, do we have any comments that, outside of the subcommittee reports? I saw in the paper that there was a shooting at Wilson Park Sunday night.
Oh, really?
So any news on that? That's what, there was stabbing last month?
I haven't received any direct feedback. I know officers were out. With some of the staff. No details on that. However, I will say that that doesn't go without saying that we aren't being proactive. I happened to actually be emailing back and forth with the beat coordinator Friday evening on, can we get an increased amount of awareness with, you know, our police presence there at Wilson. And lo and behold, that was Friday evening that I was requesting that. So, you know, staff we're making efforts and in communication with beat coordinator along with our homeless officer on a constant basis. So,
I hate seeing that because of this impression that Wilson Park is not a safe place to gather, and that's where we have our senior center.
Yeah.
You know, are we gonna make it safe for our seniors, and what kind of commitment does the city have to make it safe for our seniors? This, more and more crime is happening. Even though they've put new lights, they've done all this enhancement that they say is going to make it easier to patrol.
The only thing I can add to that is yesterday I spoke to the police chief, and I was most likely to be taken off life support as soon as my last night. And as far as the police, even if the city was affluent, in my opinion, we don't have enough money to have a policeman in every block. And it takes the public helping. When the newspaper story came out, side, nobody's telling a piece of what's going on. They gotta have people step up. You don't want to be stupid and stand in front of a camera and say, he did it. But if you got information, you gotta tell them, not you. But people gotta step up and help the cops.
well, and I'll say that from a staff perspective, you know, we're there 9 to 10 hours of the day, and we're those eyes and ears also. And
But obviously, we're there.
yes.
right, and so when we are there at that location, we do place phone calls out to PD, and emails and try and keep them in as much as possible. I agree with you 100% that it does take a partnership.
The people that work for the groundskeeper that unplug the toilets when it gets plugged up and stuff plugging up that new facility, when they clean it up, they are harassed by the homeless people. And they end up calling the cops because they get physically harassed.
Okay, do we have any items we'd like to put on the agenda for next month?
The only thing I'll ask is, we have all the subcommittees. Like, I have no idea, other than the center, senior center, I don't know what the other subcommittees are about to. Is there a schedule where we, or is it more, I mean, right now it seems to be very casual.
Yeah,
We have a matrix and, I know I'm supposed to be on the one about the Colonia Center, and there's nothing we can do until they complete construction. This will have a new center or replace the one that we have.
Or should we add 5 or 10 minutes every meeting to just kind of go around and say, here's what.
or we had every meeting at least once a quarter.
It does need to be agendized, so my suggestion would be is add one per meeting.
Oh, that you go.
For example, again, the subcommittee, Clark and Al. Some of the thoughts we had actually kind of link into the new center about fundraising, business partners, corporate support. It would probably be interesting for you to hear what we're thinking and say nuts. Or, wow, this makes sense. I'm not sure if we are nuts or if it doesn't make sense. Creative thoughts, but we're not really sure.
So are you suggesting we add that subcommittee to?
Yeah, sure.
So next,
Right on subject.
But at this particular time, on the agenda, when it says committee reports, we can do that.
Right.
And I think that was part of the tactic, was to report, or measurement tool, maybe a monthly list, periodic review. So, okay, well, we'll work on it.
You know, perhaps just put even on that, it's just committee reports of, you know, just general. And because sometimes they meet, but other times, you know, like our technology one hasn't met, and some of them don't meet, you know, they'll regularly. And if they do meet, just, you know, have any of the committees meet that have met that want to make a report, so just.
See,
keep
this
it a
is,
general one.
number H is
Yeah.
subcommittee report.
Right.
So under that, we do need to be
Call.
more specific on what exactly
Do we
is
have to
going
call
to
out
be
the committee?
correct, what is going to be reported so that the public is aware that that item is going to be discussed.
So
You do have the opportunity under commission comments to make or to, under future consideration, to say, I would like to agendize, as Jeff just mentioned, I'd like to agendize this subcommittee, so.
And I'm aware not all subcommittees have news every month. So put them on there, or we could put them on every subcommittee. Just say no, nothing's in report.
So I think we should be.
Yeah, I think so. I would recommend this. Yeah, I'm not trying to take a chunk of time, but 10 minutes for subcommittees to bring up ideas or just say, here's what we're up to. Some of what we're up to now is starting coming into request for funds. Not some printing or some creative. And actually, he was talking about if you put together a brochure for author, who actually did that for you?
Well, we haven't printed it yet, it's online.
Or
at the moment.
who designed it?
One of our committee members.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
they're pushing my PowerPoint. PowerPoint skills. Don't blame me.
There you
Okay,
go.
so we're going to work on getting that agendized.
Mhm.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, it's already
If you
there
guys agree.
vaguely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, do we have any further business? May I have a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
Anybody else? Raise your hand. Okay, we are adjourned.
Yeah. Good.
Council.
You didn't follow.
Yes.